Happy Sunday, everyone. Iron Leprechaun coming at you. This is going to be the second part of the 12 principles based on the 12 steps in 12-step recovery programs. Whether you subscribe to those, belong to those, maybe you know somebody who's involved in that. These are all things that I have noticed everybody can use. In fact, these are things that I've come to find out after being involved with it for a bit of time now that, well, a lot of these things are things that I should have caught on to, or should have learned, should have been taught, however you want to spin it, growing up. So I just a little behind the curve on that. But the cool thing is I have an adult brain and I get to dive in deeper. Remember to like, share, subscribe, click the bell icon, and so you get the updates, notifications, what have you, and comment. Let's create a dialogue around this stuff. I'm not just talking to hear myself talk. I'm doing this to share with you. If you got feedback, I want to hear it. Let's discuss this stuff. This isn't just to be heard and tossed out the window. Let's create dialogue. Let's speak on it. Let's discuss. Let's take action. All these things. That's what I'm hoping to do, is inspire action. Everything I do. So back to the first step in a 12-step program is admitted that we were powerless over our addiction, whatever that is, and that our lives have become unmanageable. I already spoke about the powerlessness, and there will be more videos about that, and we'll speak more about that, but throughout the month, the first month, first step, what have you. But the second, it's proper to spin this into two sections. We're going to talk about unmanageability today. This is a sore subject. Nobody likes to admit that they can't manage their lives. I don't like it. I know other people don't like it because they've told me so, but it kind of rolls right off of the first part of this step is if I'm powerless over my addiction, and my addiction, which at one point was a solution to my issue. Remember, my issue's here, and I'm trying to numb that. I'm trying to dull that. For whatever reason, I feel better once I consume or am distracted by whatever I'm focusing on in my addiction. Well, if I have to do that, if I have to depend on that, I'm powerless. I am powerless because now this becomes my solution, my go-to, my habitual quick fix. So it snags me, and I know I've embedded it in my mind, especially the longer I partake in this action of seeking out the solution, the substance. It happens automatically. So once I am powerless over this addiction, if I apply logic, which a lot of the disease of alcoholism, drug addiction, sex addicts, food addicts, gambling, all this stuff, logic doesn't really, it isn't really the baseline for how to look at this stuff, because we are talking about an emotional and spiritual disease. Okay, yes, there's a physical component to it, but logic doesn't really, I mean, if logic applied, if I was able to apply logic to fix my issue with this, I'm a pretty logical dude, and I know a lot of people are, it'd be easier. I would be able to then solve this issue, this problem, based on my own intellect. But that ain't the case, because there's other components, especially in my case, emotionally and spiritually. So it makes sense, I mean, logically, that if I am powerless over this struggle, that my life has become unmanageable. Not only that, but if I take an honest look at the trail of my life behind me from this point back, if I'm just arriving to the realization that I have an addiction problem, if I'm being honest, even 50, 60% honest, not 100%, it's pretty obvious that I'm not able to manage my life, at least to the point of where I'm content with it. So again, logically speaking, it's hard to do that. Plus, our emotions, our feelings get in the way, and what we as addicts, we are really consumed with what other people think about us. In fact, it generates quite a bit of fear, and we'll talk about fear more when we get into the step 4. But man, the I was really consumed, and I still am to a degree, more than I'd like to admit, that about what other people think of me. For the most part, I don't, but in some situations, I still do. And so I don't want people to know that I don't have my stuff together, that I ain't got my act together, that my life is unmanageable, that I can't manage my own life. I don't want people to know that, because that drops my perceived worth. Okay? And that doesn't feel good. And what happens when I do that? I go right back to not wanting to think about it, wanting to escape from it, wanting to numb these negative emotions and feelings, and I fall back into my addiction. This is the powerlessness coupled with the unmanageability, the obsession and the compulsion. It's just what it is. It's just what it is. Now, here's the good news. Though my life is unmanageable, it can become manageable. It can't while I'm in this state of using whatever I'm addicted to. Not only that, but this is where it applies to people that aren't in the drug addiction world or any other substance abuse, is if I don't take care, remember this is the problem, if I don't take care of the underlying issue, kind of like in medicine, I can let's think of a good one everyone can understand. Well, cancer, okay? Even better. Diabetes. Insulin, okay? Need to take insulin supplementation, okay? Or maybe pre-diabetic would be better. And some people get put on insulin medication in their pre-diabetic state. But also, in the pre-diabetic state, you can turn that around. So, and here's the thing. I can take insulin as a diabetic, but that's not going to fix my diabetes, okay? I can take medication for anxiety. Here's another example. But that's not going to fix the anxiety. It's just going to alleviate the problem at that moment. I need to find the underlying issue, what's causing the anxiety, and then I won't have to take the medication anymore. But basically what I'm saying is the medication does not fix the anxiety. It just treats it, and it's a maintain, which in a maintenance for some people isn't bad. I'm not saying that you shouldn't be taking anti-anxiety medication, okay? I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is, for the purpose of the analogy, if we're trying to fix the issue that causes the misery, it's best not to just band-aid the misery. Let's go in and surgically fix the issue, okay? And that's what we're going to roll into next and when we start talking about step 2. There is a solution. Life can become manageable, and we're going to speak on that later. Just remember, just because things are unmanageable now doesn't mean, with a little bit of humility, some proper direction, some faith, and taking the next action. You can have faith all you want in something and desire something all you want, but if you don't take the action, that's all it is a dream, and then you're just going to get more upset that you don't have what you want. So the action is necessary, okay? And we'll get into that even later. So that's all I got, and I hope you all have a good wrap up to your weekend. I'll be dropping videos here and there about all this stuff. Like, share, subscribe, hit me up. Follow me on Instagram, Iron Leprechaun. You can hit me up on Facebook, all these things. But check out the YouTube. There's lots of good videos, and I'll see you around.